everyone. Welcome to the ATYL live stream on a Wednesday night. I'm joined by I'm just going to say, handsome co-host here. Ben, I think you got a haircut. It just your hair looks different, and I thought it looked really good, so I had to lead with that first
I
off.
did get a haircut, so thank you for
It
noticing.
looks great. So Ben Branscombe, Adam Lucas, and Dom Joseph join me here tonight to talk about NASCAR. And you all know I was just in Daytona. I ran off of like 3 hours of sleep every single night, and hopefully at some point I can get back to a normal schedule. So if I go off the rails at any point tonight,
that is why. I was also just at 2311 and got home literally a minute ago. So
Taylor lives by the Andy Samberg quote, "Never stop, never stopping."
this is true. This is true. I live by it. I really do. Oh my gosh. But it's good to see you all rolling into the chat. Of course, if you don't know me, again, my name is Taylor Kitchen. I talk about NASCAR all the time. And this is ATYL Live, part of ATYL Media, doing motorsports media your way. And we are going to talk about the Daytona 500 to kick things off. Now, being at the track, I had a little bit of a different perspective of the race. And then I was able to watch it back and really dive into there were some issues here. To kick off, I guess, how did we feel about the overall product? I'll throw it to Ben first. What do you think about the overall product? We were 3-wide racing practically the entire time.
This is kind of what I've expected from Daytona in a lot of ways now. It's pretty consistent the past 3 or 4 years. Definitely more 3-wide stuff and a little more action. It's kind of the same script. It's the rinse and repeat of we do tight racing. We kind of have some fuel strategy plan. We have a wreck. We have a late restart. We have another wreck. We go to overtime and rinse and repeat at the end of the day. But I think this was one of the more memorable ones in recent years.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I can definitely quantify this as a more memorable race than last year's because I remember barely anything about last year's 500. Or even like the 500 Stenhouse one. So I'd say solid race.
And I guess kind of going off of that, everyone was pretty, I don't want to say pissed off. I don't want to say everyone was pissed off about how the race ended, but with how the race ended, there are now some questions about, is the prestige of the 500 gone? Is it the same way it was many years ago? And a lot of the conversation is around just the wrecks and maybe, lack of better words, dumb moves that some drivers are making. From my standpoint, we've seen wrecks and flips at Daytona for decades. It's nothing new, but I'm curious, Dom, from your perspective, is the prestige gone? Is this different than we've had it in the past at Daytona, or is this same old Daytona just getting more attention?
To say, because I think there's 2 different ways you can look at this. If you're an optimist, you look at it and say, this just shows how much it means to win this race, that these guys lose their minds at the end of it. It's like, this is how, like, if you're in 9th place on the last lap, you still think you can win the race. So, I mean, what position was Byron in before the wreck? He was like 6th or something before the wreck.
9th. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he was 9th.
Yeah,
we called it.
Anyways. Oh yeah.
We got it.
Didn't even mean to do that. But no, it's the optimist side is like, that's how bad they want it. It's the pushing and shoving, no holds barred, anything goes, to try to get to the win. Obviously we think back to when Jeff Gordon won his 3 Daytona 500s. They were battling, but there was a reasonable gap between cars where they weren't slamming each other. It was, it was more of an art form then. Can you finesse your way by the leader for the win? I mean, I just think it didn't work out for him. But you think about 1999 when Gordon won, but Earnhardt, he looks inside, he looks outside, he looks inside again, just trying everything. And I guess the bonus is now they can actually make the pass. But I will say he was on an island, but the move Cindric put on Corey LaJoie was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The amount of texts in the work chat, broke his ankles. That was cool to see. Like, that was a sweet move. And like, with this car, you can do that. I think the prestige is there. It's always been there. It's just, we've gotten to the point now where we have now reached that moment where people are no longer wanting to see the crashes, and they actually want to see a finish.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I think, Adam, as NASCAR fans, we're never satisfied. I think we get one thing that we've wanted for years, and then we decide we hate it, and then we want to go back to the way things were. And it's kind of a flip-flop every single year. But I guess with this 500, I'm curious your thoughts. Like, do you want us to go back to just like, no wrecks, nobody like totally going for it? Or like, were you happy with kind of what we got?
It's an interesting balancing act, because on one hand, I want to see good racing, but when you're stuck 3 wide on a track that only really can handle 3 wide racing, it kind of gets boring after a while. It's good, yeah, and fuel safe. You're 75% on throttle, maybe even less for half of your run, and it starts to, it's like rinse and repeat. It beats watching them go single file on the high line for 180 laps, but then it also becomes, wow, I'm anxious, but I know nothing's going to happen until 20 to go. So it's really the mentality that teams have now. It's different. It's not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be even probably 5 years ago. I think it's the car. The car, I think, really has put them in this type of a box where this is the type of super speedway racing you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make desperate moves to make any type of moves to have a chance at winning. Yeah, I think it's just a product of what this car is and where we're at with it. It'll be probably brought up and looked at, and who knows, we might get another overhaul with the package. If we're loud enough as fans, something will happen.
Put the red flag chaos aside. Did we think the 2012 Daytona 500 was a good race overall? Because the big change there was they took all that space from the air dam away and forced them to not be all over each other and make space between the cars.
I like that one. That was a good 500 for me personally.
Because I don't think they've done anything with the air dam on the next gen car. That could be something.
Yeah, that could play a factor. Big factor.
What Slide Job Sal is saying, shout out to Sal. It's changed the aero package, up the horsepower, eliminate stage brakes. And then we get into the conversation again of, should we go back to eliminating the stage brakes? Maybe keep the stages to have stage points, but eliminate those.
I was about to say something about that.
We're back in that same conversation.
It feels that the stages are killing any type of momentum and keeping it truly organic, because if you know when a caution is coming, you're going to conserve. When it's not just race lights out for 500 miles in one of the most prestigious races on the schedule. So I think if we're going to do a crown jewel event, it should have crown jewel rules, old school rules. It's green flag. Next flag you're going to see is if there's a wreck or some kind of hazard on the track, it'll be a caution. But other than that, it would be a checkered flag.
And Adam, you brought up a good point too, where it's like, I'd rather see them 3 wide for the entire race than just choo-choo training across the top of the track, right? Because you never know really like what's gonna happen. I mean, you're kind of like on the edge of your seat. You're like, oh, maybe, like there'll be a wreck or something like that, but maybe not.
I'm just thinking on Saturday after the ARCA race, we were rooting so hard for Austin Hill to pull them up to the wall and just log laps.
Oh my God.
All of America was rooting for that, trust me.
Yeah. And like also hate that for Austin Hill, by the way. He had a car that should have won this race, mechanical failure. They still, from what I know right now, are unsure of what happened. I'm sure we'll get more updates potentially as the week goes on. But he actually he talked to the media for quite a long time once he was in the garage. I was surprised because if I was him, I would have been really pissed off. But, obviously the win stayed in RCR for the Xfinity Series with Jesse Love. So congrats to him. Obviously
this is something we saw a lot of from Kyle Busch at JGR. He would always start his season with a lot of optimism and just keep positive attitude for as long as he possibly could. So, I mean, kudos to Austin for like mingling up and just taking the time and like really thoroughly talking out his feelings and how upset he was that it was something that he couldn't control that took him out of the race.
Right. And again, like I said, he was like, you know what? Couldn't control it. Nothing I could have done. So we're going to move on. He's like, I'm going to pat everyone on the back and just say, keep your head up. And we'll move on. That's a great mentality to have.
They had a great race car.
They did.
They were so fast.
and moving on to
Yeah.
Atlanta, that'll be good. And we need to bring up the elephant in the room, and maybe this is just the elephant in the room in my head because I'm thinking about it. But Parker Kligerman,
tomorrow,
guys. Like,
His fate is in the hands of the appeals team
man,
tomorrow.
I mean, yes, it is in the hands of the appeals team tomorrow. But Parker Kligerman did cross the line first at Daytona, and then unfortunately was disqualified due to the heights of the back of his truck. And then the win was given to Corey Heim. However, there is an appeals process that is going to take place tomorrow, so we'll see if the win is reinstated or not. But man, that is the most excited I think I've ever seen Parker.
He was hyped.
Like, and you know how much it meant. Yeah, he was hyped. And how this happened in the media center is literally his press conference ended. He walked out of the room. One of the NASCAR comms members came up to the podium and was like, 75 DQ'd. And we were like, no. Like, he went through his entire press conference, left, and then it was like, boom, right after that. And we were all gutted. I mean, it was the perfect story too, right?
For him. He's been trying to get that sponsor, Big Machine Spike Coolers, in Victory Lane for a very long time.
Yeah.
So that just hurts.
Yeah.
I'm rooting. I really am rooting for him tomorrow because I know Corey Heim's going to win again this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Could be this weekend.
He'll win again.
Could be. Yeah. Very well could be.
And by the way, going back to kind of what needs to be different with these cars, Matt Benzik from Benzik Designs. We'll talk more about Benzik Designs in a little bit. But he says he stands with Denny. If you guys have not listened to Actions Detrimental this week, whether you like Denny or not, he brings up some good points. And I do appreciate his co-host, Jared, being devil's advocate a little bit, because of course Denny's going to be upset, right? He was wrecked out of a chance to win another Daytona 500, so he's going to be rightfully so pissed off. But Jared was like, hey, Denny, I know you're mad, but like, let's try to look at it this way. But Denny did say, less drag and downforce, have the horsepower because we have to stay under 199. That forces drivers to keep some distance but fight on the track. So I would recommend listening to that for sure. And Denny had some good points, obviously heated. And then, of course, NASCAR now has their own podcast where they go through certain calls and things. And they wholeheartedly are one of the guys on there wholeheartedly disagreed with Denny on a lot of the stuff he said. So we're going to have some of that back and forth this season. I can guarantee it. But all that said, a lot of heartbreak, I think, for Kligerman. And then, of course, I think to the Xfinity Series as well, seeing his old car, Nick Sanchez, just hit the wall. And I'm like, man, just all bad luck all around. But anywho, this is also interesting. Opinions on NASCAR. Appreciate you tuning in. The Prestige has 100% fallen. Winning the 500 used to be a career-defining moment, and it's not any longer. And we did talk about the Prestige. I don't know. It feels different now. The 500, when you win it, it feels different. And especially this year. I mean, when Byron was in the car, he had to try to, come to terms with he won this race. He told the media that afterwards. And I'm like, to win the biggest race in NASCAR and try to have to come to terms with how you won it feels weird.
I think the one thing that we've lost is now that all the cars are the same and are all coming from the same place and can be run anywhere, we don't have the stories of we've been working on the 500 car since July. We don't have the story of like how badly they want their primary to make the 500 because it has been scientifically specifically designed to win the Daytona 500 and not go anywhere else. It is going to run this race and then it's going into the team museum after this. So,
well, that and just like,
I
mean, we've talked about it before on here. It's not speed weeks, it's speed a few days now. So like that really takes a lot out of it. And it's even like, if we even want to rewind it back even farther, like preseason testing hasn't been a thing for what, 10 years?
10 years.
Or so. Yep. 10 years. Speed weeks is now speed week.
Bring it back.
The prestige of it is gone in a lot. Or it's not gone. It's definitely dwindled, I will say, for me.
We only got pre-qualifying practice because the teams begged for it.
Yep.
Well, and then you had drivers saying, "Oh, we didn't need practice; it was unnecessary."
We're talking about practice.
I'm like, this week,
RFK Racing needed it apparently.
Yeah, they did. My
Yeah,
God,
they did.
did they?
Yeah. They needed it
apparently, my
because
God.
they found some issues. So it was with
Yeah.
I'll make a case
So,
right there. That's the reason you should continue
Yeah.
to not have to worry or have to demand to have practice. You just that's your case. A team found an issue across the
Right.
board, so
Mhm.
then they were able to fix it before qualifying and have a crappy starting spot for the duels. So I mean it worked.
And the argument is too was like, let's say you have more than one practice session a weekend. I guess make the
Like an
second one
actual happy
optional. I
hour?
don't know.
Happy hour,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Which, like, it's not like
there
Or-
you go. That's what I'm looking
Good.
for.
it's not required anyway, right? Like, like
No, you don't have
practice
to
can be a thing, but
practice.
you don't have to go.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, like,
I think if you had one
mean,
long
and-
session, like a 90-minute session, that'd be perfect. The 90 minutes is more than
Right.
enough time to get a lot of data.
mhm.
100%. Well, and Sal brings up a good point too. I hate to harp on this, but I will say it feels like the duels did have more juice than the 500 this year. They always do because I mean it
Yeah.
is you're racing your way into the Great American Race, the open cars this year. That the whole storyline with that was insane.
Mhm.
So it felt like there were more stakes, and then how close the second duel came between Cindric and Jones, and I think Eric Jones got robbed, but that's just me. But I understand it.
According to that NASCAR
anywho.
podcast, yes.
Yeah,
NASCAR also agrees with you.
Yes.
yeah,
They're the ones that made the call.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tough all the way around, but I mean, it's Daytona. Obviously, these teams are not going to find any good baseline with Atlanta coming up because that's
Yeah.
just as much as a crapshoot now as Daytona is. I will say, I think the product at Atlanta
Yeah.
is slightly
Yeah.
better. But you never know. By the way, if anyone wants to know about the media experience of what that was like the past few days, I'm gonna do a live on Patreon sometime later this week. So make sure to follow me on Patreon and we'll talk about it. But there's a lot to go over there. But it was a really cool experience to go. And I mean, Dom's covered the Great American Race before too. I mean, there's nothing like it. It is the most exhausting, I guess, exhausting, confidence building, confidence losing, just weekend of your life. But
It's a
there's nothing
grind,
like it.
but
It's incredible.
you will always find yourself holding back tears walking into that place.
Yeah. Well, and I told you guys, I think I told you guys this, but I had no emotions going into covering this race. I was like, okay, cool. Another race weekend we're covering at the track, always feeling blessed to do it. It wasn't until the green flag dropped for the Cup Series that I literally started bawling my eyes out on pit road. Because it hit me. I was like, oh my God. Like, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was me just
Wow.
seeing the grandstands that says Daytona on the back and just walking in knowing it was Sunday and I'm
Mhm.
walking in for the 500. So
Yeah.
I called my parents and just thanked them for everything and just like I was just so in the moment, like couldn't believe it was
Yeah.
happening.
Mhm.
It's crazy. No, you feel the gravity of it, even though I was at the track at like 5:30 in the morning. Like I still was like, because that was another component of this too. But like, literally, you soak in the moment, and you're like, oh my God, like we're here, we're at Daytona, we're covering the Great American Race, and it's a cool experience. And even through the rain delays, and even we have a good question here. It's like thoughts on the rain delay. Fox sends the drivers into their haulers, or just the drivers go to their
Yeah.
haulers, right? It's not like a
Yeah, they can do whatever.
broadcasting thing that does
Yeah.
it. They can do whatever they want, but I think it's cool when we have those rain delays because you can see the drivers' personalities. And I even texted the guys, I texted you all, and I was like, I love this Spire Motorsports lineup this year. Like, I
Yeah.
just think they all gelled
Yep.
together so well. Hocevar, Haley, McDowell, like it's a fun group, and you get to see that during
The
these
two
rain
kids
delays,
and
which
the
I think is
dad.
really fun.
Yeah, literally.
That's the vibe they bring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Seriously, yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
McDowell's there. He's the dad to keep them all together.
he needs to be. The other thought with this too, we should bring up the CW broadcast. Now, I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but from what I've heard and was able to see,
It was excellent.
pretty
Yeah,
It was
solid.
one of
really
the
good.
best Xfinity broadcasts since ESPN.
Jamie and Parker were spectacular together.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even like the
So
pre-race
good.
show stuff with
good.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Yes.
Yes.
Carla?
From Dale Jr. Download. Or formerly of Dale Jr. Download. Like that whole
Yes.
crew was very good. Like they did a lot of good. Like the chemistry was there. They were very good from the start. So very, very good broadcast. Very excited to see how they can keep the momentum going for 32 more races or whatever it is. So
Yeah. No, it was a breath of fresh air, and I was like, man, like if only not to dig on my people at Fox, because I love a lot of them over there, but if only the Fox broadcast for NASCAR could be that well put together, you know?
I mean,
God, I wish.
It was good and
But
it was
yeah.
insightful. It felt like they were telling you more than just what you were seeing. Like they were getting more technical, almost like an IndyCar-esque broadcast.
Yeah, and they talked to you, not at you
Yes,
when
it
they were
was.
being
I didn't feel like
technical.
I was in school learning a lesson. I felt like it was like, okay, so this is kind of how it goes.
And even
That's
the pit reporters Dylan Welch and Kim Kuhn,
Oh,
where we got
that's
Megan
so
from.
good.
They were great. Like they're both very good at their job. Kim Kuhn's obviously like incredible, and she has the Amaran experience. But like Dylan's kind of like tiptoed in a little bit, done some NASCAR stuff, done some IMSA and IndyCar stuff as well. But like having him kind of fully be in this role, like I'm very excited for both of them as well. So like it's a very tight knit and fun crew. Like when I look at the Fox guys, like they're fun, but they're older fun. And when I look at the CW crew, I'm like, these people look like my age. And I say that at almost 30 years old. But they look like my age, and they're like little, like they get it more. And like these guys have been in a car more recently than some of the Fox guys. Like, so I don't know.
Right. It feels like a more approachable booth. And I don't want to say that like as like it's an age thing, but it's more of how they gel together, right? So I thought it was really good. And then even too, like I hated they were like, Parker, hate to address this, but like we all felt so bad for you. And like they addressed it at the start of the broadcast. I was like, oh man, but no, I'm excited to see what they do this season. And I mean overall Daytona, here we are. The season's truly here.
36 weeks to
and
go.
we don't stop until November. Yeah.
The circus moves on.
So pretty crazy. I think the only other two things I wanted to talk about was Elio Castroneves and of course Junior Motorsports and their maiden Cup Series voyage here. Let's start with Elio because I mean the weekend for him was ARCA and the Cup Series and the ARCA race. Holy crap!
That whole week was a disaster for him.
Elio and the no good, horrible, very bad weekend.
Yeah,
he's gonna have PTSD if he ever comes back to NASCAR, which apparently he does.
But he wants to. He wants to do some road course racing, awesome. Which I think
let's space these guys out a little bit.
Yeah.
Then I can compete a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he enjoyed his experience at Daytona. Obviously, didn't go the way he wanted it to. ARCA, he finished was it fifth? I think fifth.
They weren't too happy,
but then got junked coming to the line, which was just craziness. And then, of course, the 500 didn't go the way he wanted to. Didn't go the way we wanted it to go for Truex either, which sucked. Sorry, then. Yeah, they did. Yeah,
because it was junked.
Yeah,
it was. If we can backtrack quickly, it was a very, very rough outing for Trackhouse. They lost 7 cars.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a lot of inventory on the next gen car.
Big money and Pitbull. Which
who
was
then performed at the 500?
Yeah. He was gonna have media availability and then they canceled it, and I was like, oh, so he's not answering any questions about this. Yeah. But no, here's the good thing about ARCA though. Elio aside, it did draw in over 1 million views, and that's the Cletus McFarland effect. A lot of that, so. I mean, for sure. His in-car camera brought a crap ton of views, more than I've ever seen for an in-car camera ever, right? And then this begs the question, like, what is the ARCA series now? What does it need to be to gain eyes, to gain more partners? If we start bringing in YouTubers, I know Cletus does some more racing. I get that. But, like, what does it become? And then I heard Denny in his podcast say, ARCA shouldn't be racing at Daytona. I'm like, all right, so should these drivers start racing at Daytona in trucks? And then trucks becomes the crapshoot, right? Like, you have to start them somewhere. So I get the hate or the, I guess, frustrations around ARCA this weekend. I understand. There was some people that race where I'm like, ooh, you need more practice. But you have to start somewhere, and to have Cletus in this race to bring more attention to it.
They also got
pretty good
canned track time too. So like they had one session getting rained out fully, so track time was limited on them. So I do give some leniency on that. But yeah, it very much is like a And I don't know. I'm not covering it this year, so I don't know what the Road to Daytona tests looks like overall. And I know everyone kind of tiptoes around that because it's testing and no one wants to junk anything, but there could be maybe a better program for that in the future. I
Right.
don't know. But
Agree. Yeah, and I will say Cletus was really great with the media after the race, and also congrats to Butterbean for winning that ARCA race. He was stoked.
I haven't felt so
Stoked.
alive in months. Like, oh, that hit like a drug, man.
And when you have a driver like Butterbean, like win a race like that, I know it was chaotic, but I mean, it really was. You had to survive that 1 and 2.
Yeah,
he
he was
did race
incredible.
really well all across the board in that one. But it also goes to prove, how important the short track racing scene is, how it's kind of brought him to where he is. And I actually talked to Matthew Dillner when I was at the track after his win, and he was like, he's a genuinely good guy, like a really good kid. He goes, I know a lot of people say that, but like he works hard. And so it's good to see when, like, I guess one of the good guys win, I guess, and how emotional it is, which is cool.
He's my age, but he's a good kid.
Yeah, we say that, and I'm like, they're our age,
Well, most of us.
Well, yeah, that's all right though. That's all right. Anything else we want to touch on about Daytona before we move into some pretty pertinent? I don't know. NASCAR news. Words are escaping me right now. Thank you. There we go. I mean, some of the news pertains.
I was going to say. So
let's just go right into it then, shall we? This is where I'm going to change our screen. Hello, this is so much better. Okay, so the big news that literally came out, a lot of the big media members were at 2311, and literally as we were there trying to cover the unveiling of the Xfinity primary car for Tyler Reddick, this major news dropped. Joe Gibbs Racing's number 19 team, so Chase Briscoe, they were assessed with a massive penalty after Daytona, an L2 penalty. Due to issues with the spoiler of the car. They've been fined a hefty $100,000 for the infraction, while both the driver and the team have been docked 100 driver and owner's points and 10 NASCAR Cup Series playoff points. So a pretty big deal. Crew chief has been ejected for 4 races. He had such a strong start to the season, and
that puts him 89 points below the cut line. And he has negative 67 points.
You have more points than Chase Briscoe.
Yeah.
MTJ has more points than Briscoe.
This is my America.
This is back-to-back years that the Daytona 500 pole sitter has been
crazy. That's the crazy part about it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, very interesting.
Well, and I know people have made the comment, it's like, okay, well, we have all these pre-race inspection things. Why don't we catch this stuff pre-race, and then post-race there's issues? And I get it. I'm not an expert on the inspection process, so don't ask me. But there are questions with that too. So I hate to see that because Chase had such a good weekend between qualifying on the pole, the first pole award for Toyota at the Great American Race. Huge deal. First points paying race for him with his new team in Toyota. It's just, you hate to see it.
What's really embarrassing is how it happened, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, how do you overlook that? Like something that is on a checklist that you check and make sure said part is the single source supplier.
Yeah.
Like, such an oversight. Wow. Just, it boggles my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. And along with this too, Todd Gilliland as well as Cody Ware have been assessed penalties as well. Crew chiefs ejected before the Daytona 500 for violating rules. So they got penalties before the race weekend started,
10 points
as
each.
an FYI. Yes, and docked 10 points each. There you go. Thank you. I was like, I know I missed something there. But it's crazy. And then you start your season on the high. Now it's at a low and you have to dig your way out. And at this point, I guess the objective is pretty clear for that team. I expect them to be in victory lane this year. I really do. That's my thought.
Yeah. They just got to get some points now so they can even count a win into it. Yeah.
That's tough because I'm a firm believer in first impressions matter. So your first impression is you're now on the back foot for the rest of the season until you win, if you do win. So
playing catch up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, Matt brings up a point, oversight doesn't happen, a choice was made. And when it's something as obvious as that, it's kind of like, yeah, we don't want to speculate with that, but it's true. And this is the big part of this news too. Joe Gibbs Racing will appeal this, as per a press release that came out moments after, I guess everything was announced.
I think it's because in inspection, they found a receipt for a pack of screws from the Home Depot. They're like, you mind telling us what this is?
Was it dated 2012?
Oh.
I've never seen that. I don't know what that is.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, pretty tough. So the statement from Joe Gibbs Racing, just so you guys know, like the actual wording is, Joe Gibbs Racing will appeal the penalty issued by NASCAR to the number 19 Cup Series team today. The issue in question was caused in the assembly process when bolts used to attach the spoiler base to the deck lid caused the pre-drilled holes to wear due to supplied part interferences. And what I think is really interesting about this too is like Hendrick Motorsports just announced like their Hexagon Lab like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, where they literally are taking these pre-made parts and they're like scanning them beforehand and scanning them after the race to see if there are defects in them, right? And then they get back to NASCAR. So and then they communicate that ahead of time or right after the fact. And so it's very interesting. Very, very interesting for sure. So yeah, hate to see that. But I guess, well, there's another appeal that's going to be happening. So we'll see. And then, yeah, some people pointing to James Small. He was under immense pressure this weekend. And obviously it's not good.
Great way to start there,
not
Jim.
good at all.
No.
Yikes. So we will, I guess, now move on from Daytona. So we've covered that for the first half of the show, which is pretty good. Like I said, I'll have some more content coming out about that on my Patreon and social media if you guys kind of want a behind the scenes or like what it's like to work that race type of POV out there. But let's talk about our kind of, I guess, last piece of NASCAR news that I wanted to bring up. And then, of course, the floor is open for you all in the comment section and to the guys to talk about what kind of we want to talk about within the sport, what's going on, what's happening. But we did get an announcement today from Hendrick Motorsports that the number 17 HendrickCars.com car will be running in 16 Xfinity Series races this year. All of the Cup Series regular drivers for Hendrick Motorsports will be participating in these 16 events. And of course, Corey Day will be running a majority of them. I guess kind of cool to see this. I mean, I used to hate, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I used to hate when like Cup Series drivers would race in Xfinity and truck. And then like gaining perspective, I'm like, how cool is it for a driver to be like, I beat Chase Elliott this weekend. Isn't that cool?
I mean, you would have hated the
series
over the nationwide
series.
You would have cringed every
goodness gracious.
Those years,
Every
man.
weekend.
Kyle Busch, does that name ring a bell to anybody?
Imagine qualifying your Cup car at Pocono and then getting on a plane and flying to Iowa and kick butt for the Xfinity race and then flying back to Pocono and finishing 7th in the Cup race.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's cool though, because like Hendrick was never that team to do it. Or at least, I mean, the only one that would be Dale Earnhardt Jr. But it's cool to see that they are putting their resources into an Xfinity team when the cop out was always, well, we have Junior Motorsports. We'll let those guys, but now they want skin in the game. So that's pretty cool.
It's nice to have an actual development plan or development program.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm sure with that, Joe Gibbs has talked with Rick about the positives of it. And I'm sure Rick has very closely seen how well the progression has gone with JGR Xfinity up to Cup. So, and that goes for drivers and crew members and crew chiefs, car chiefs, whatnot. So it's just all the way up to good development process.
Yeah, it's good to see that these teams are, bettering their development processes, especially at the Xfinity Series level before these drivers eventually that aren't already Cup Series regulars move up to the big leagues. And it's been good to see Joe Gibbs Racing, theirs really develop over the next few years. And obviously Hendrick Motorsports is kind of revamping theirs too, which is good.
To get young talent, not just driver wise, but crew wise too. work with a prestigious team at a second tier level. I mean, hey,
True.
doors always open. There's always a fourth Hendrick car that might
True.
need to be filled.
Oh man.
Hold on. Holding fire.
Yikes.
Week one, I'm holding
Yikes.
fire.
I didn't say who. Chase Elliott's been a little slow lately.
It's implied.
No, Chase has actually had a good week.
But I mean,
Three,
he did.
three of those guys have championships and crown jewels, and you'll never catch them.
We kid because we care.
We do. We kid because we care. This is true.
What's best for the sport.
Yeah.
That's all.
This is true.
We want what's best for the sport, and spiders are our friends. That's all.
This is true. These are our mottos here. This is true. You know, there is one Daytona talking point we did neglect, and not that I didn't think about this, but I moved on too quickly. The Priest flip. When we were talking about these cars, you need to be better, be what? Some of you guys mentioned it in the comments, so I want to talk about it because you all want us to talk about it here. But obviously, Priest was frustrated that these cars keep getting airborne, and unfortunately, he's at the bad end of these deals quite often. My thing is, what else can they do? You know,
I mean, he made the comment of taking the underbody off of it because it's just a sheet of plywood in the wind. But and I kind of see that to some degree, but also you can put these cars in a lab all you want, but you're never gonna be able to recreate certain incidences and certain wrecks. And this one was just another kind of freak thing. RFK has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever and take him to go actually get a pilot's license this week, which would be the best opportunity for a social media clip, which I would love. But I mean, I'm sorry that it's you that gets the crap end of the stick, so to speak, in this regard. So,
yeah,
new Ryan Newman, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah,
the Ryans.
I think
Ryan.
with especially just how it happened, it was really a freak accident. It wasn't because he got spun out and then flipped. It was a front impact that launched the front car up, causing a wheelie of all things. That is what stuck out of my mind, was just John forced it all the way into turn 3, essentially. Yeah.
And the roof flaps are designed to keep the car on the ground when it's sideways or going backwards.
Yeah.
People are wondering why the roof flaps wouldn't deploy. Well, do you want them up in the air when they're going forward? Because that's what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's only so much NASCAR can do. Obviously, they're going to look at this and continue to make improvements where they can. But I mean, there are going to be freak accidents like this. Do we want them to happen? No. Do we like when they happen? No. It's unfortunate that hit by these, but you never know. So that's what we'll say.
Nature of racing.
Nature of racing.
Yep.
All right. Before we move on to other topics you all want to talk about, previewing Atlanta, we do have a new partner that I wanted to announce tonight. We'll do an official announcement tomorrow, but because I'm excited about this, an exclusive for you all watching, all 228 of you. Love to see you all here.
Hey, shout out.
Big shout out. Welcome. Welcome to the team.
Insane Asylum.
So we have an official partnership with honestly true. Happy Hour Racing. You all know them from working with me in the past, and they have been awesome with wanting to work with the entire ATYL Media team. So we're happy to bring them on as the official apparel partner of ATYL Media, from officially licensed NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar merchandise. It's all there. They also do sell die casts. So look to do some giveaways in the next few weeks. So stay tuned for that. And we will have some promo codes coming up in the next few days as well for you all to use for an exclusive time to celebrate this partnership that will be on socials. So you guys are hearing this all first. We will announce it officially tomorrow, but I'm super thrilled to have Happy Hour Racing with us as they look to grow their presence within NASCAR and motorsports as a whole. And as we do as well, it was a perfect pairing. Chris, who runs it all, it's a family business, and they all just love racing. They eat, sleep, and breathe it, and just like we do here. So it made complete sense to partner with them, continue our partnership, but build it in a bigger way. And obviously, of course, with them selling some die casts as well, it kind of fits in perfectly with our partner at Benzik Designs and the die cast stands. And obviously, we'll have some more die cast partnership related news coming out soon, so stay tuned for that as well. But this one I am very excited about, and you all know I also collect hats. They all come from Happy Hour Racing. They all do. So excited to have them here supporting our entire team, and please support them as well. There is a link that I will put in the chat momentarily where you can go and just look at their merchandise, see what there is to see. And yeah, it's a cool partnership. So yeah, just go check out their stuff. We'll have more content and stuff with them very, very soon.
Hell yeah, brother.
Sweet.
Cool. Speaking of Benzik Designs, and because Matt's in the chat right now, we still have our promo code and everything going on for these wonderful diecast stands. This is how I display all my diecasts, which are not necessarily behind me at the moment because you all know me. Equipment malfunctions, it happens. But all of my diecasts that are on those 4-tiered stands are from Benzik Designs. He's gotten great reviews on his Etsy page. They are the official diecast display partner of ATYL Media, and I really hope you guys check them out as well. I'll have the QR code on the screen for you all here so you all can check it out.
I need to hit him up.
Yeah. Yeah, but like literally, these are the coolest things ever. And he's actually working on a very special project for me to have like a racetrack, a 3D printed racetrack as a diecast holder. And he got done painting the above the yellow line logo yesterday and sent it to me. And I was like, this is so cool. So anywho, definitely check out Benzik Designs just to get all your diecast display wants needs. There's wall mounted displays, 3-tier displays, 4-tier displays. There's literally so much that you can get from Benzik Designs. So thanks, Matt, for partnering with us and for creating these really cool stands. Literally, it's the coolest thing.
Matt is the GOAT.
Matt is the GOAT. He really is. And just like I said about our partners at Happy Hour Racing, how Chris, like it's a family organization, a really good guy. And like, they literally are the nicest people ever. Same with Matt. Like I love the people we partner with. They are incredible people doing incredible things. And they are just super kind and awesome and love to support what we do and love to support you guys in the process. So yeah, Michael bought some of their stands. They're great. That's good. We love this. If you use the promo code ATYL 2025, you get 20% off. So help save some cash there. And also just say, hey, we sent you there, which is pretty cool. Yeah, great displays. We love that. Cool. All right. So wanted to give some love to our partners because we love them. And also, I guess, keep the QR code on screen. I don't know. Y'all are scanning it like crazy.
Yeah,
so we love
keep
this.
it on.
Y'all keep it on screen. Let's do this. We'll kind of have this be an open floor part of the show. Next week, we will have the ATYL Media panel. We're going to do this once a month where all of our content creators come on the show and talk all things racing, not just NASCAR, though, Formula One, IndyCar, even IMSA as well in the sim racing world, too. So very excited to kind of kick that off next week, which I'm excited about. There we go. But now the floor is open to everyone else. Gentlemen, I'll start with you guys. Any specifics you want to talk about within the NASCAR world? Anything we might not have talked about, whether it's Daytona, Atlanta, before we preview that race very briefly? No? Any others?
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa puff. I got nothing. I think we covered a lot of it.
We did cover a lot. We did.
Well, we've got Kyle Busch running the trucks again. He's got 5 races on the schedule. It's Fire Motorsports. So good to see him still committed to the truck series.
23XI still can't make 2 good schemes to save their life. That Xfinity car is not good, man. That Xfinity mobile car is not good. Let me rephrase that.
It's very simplified. Simplified.
Meanwhile, Spire.
Then they dropped the Columbia paint scheme, which is just
it looks so good.
They're always the Columbia ones are always consistently good, but especially like compared to what they just put out at like 5 o'clock tonight. Like, yeah.
Oh, Eric Almirola's back at Joe Gibbs.
This is true. He is back. He's doing multiple races with them this year.
Anyway,
but anywho, also the Happy Hour Racing link. That's what I'm trying to say. Is in the comments. Yeah, I got there. We got there again. Little sleep. We're doing it though. We're fine. But yeah, so it's dropped in the comments on Facebook and YouTube. So make sure to check them out. And of course, on our website, we have the link to all of our partners, all of their products, and even to on the Motorsports Enthusiast. John DeRugerist, you all know him from Track Limits. He actually has a 2025 Motorsports calendar that we have on our website right now. That is super cool. So,
I didn't know how to say his last name till now, so that's good.
I literally asked him, so this was like after he made the announcement, I'm like, hey, John, I should know this at this point. But how do you pronounce it? And he gave you like the phonetic
Oh, nice.
pronunciation. And I was like, okay, got it. And then I was like, I sent him like a voice message. I'm like, is this how you say it? He goes, perfect. I'm like, awesome. We know this from growing
Nice.
out.
I
Same with,
remember talking. My name's misspelled, so
well, and I pronounced Sal's name wrong for a little bit too, Nicosia. And I pronounced it wrong. Yeah. So, but we're here now. We're all family and we know how to pronounce each other's last names.
I thought Sal was his last name.
Oh yeah, sorry. His first name is Slide Job, last name Sal. Sorry, my bad. My bad.
Yeah. Ooh. Let's get the phonetics on that one.
Yeah.
Slide job.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Goodness gracious. All right. So next time you see an episode of Above the Line or the ATYL Live show, we'll have more information up about our new partners at Happy Hour Racing, and of course, always bringing some love to our partners at Benzik Designs, and of course, now the motorsports enthusiast, he has his own calendar, and I want to promote that while we're still in February. So stay tuned for that. But let's
I just imagined
preview.
swimsuit calendar. I don't know why that came to my mind. It's just him in like at the beach, like just like rocking.
Oh my god.
That could get interesting.
It could get interesting. It could be. I do have some pictures of the calendar on our website, by the way, in case you're curious.
As you can tell, I haven't been to the website in a minute. So.
AboveTheYellowLine.com. It should be linked in the description on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, if you're watching on other platforms, link in my bio as well. You guys are the comments.
This
are
was
making me so
water.
happy.
This was water, and this
was
is
water?
a salsa jar. So I just
Tell it
That's
to the
incredible.
judge.
All right, gang, let's preview Atlanta. Let me pull up. Oh, that's me on the screen. I don't mean to do that right
Our
now.
Lord and Savior.
Oh, no, none of that. There we go. Here we are.
Wow, it's
All
gonna
right.
45.
Ooh.
Dude, it never
It
fails.
never
with
fails
Atlanta.
with Atlanta.
Every time that Atlanta race shows up, it's
Oh.
freezing. I will never forget 2023. It was so cold Sunday morning. It was so cold. I couldn't understand how Atlanta could get that cold.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not going to be there this weekend. I know Toby Christie from TobyChristie.com has to be there. So he worked Daytona, exhausting, grueling race, going to Atlanta, and it's going to be freezing. First off, not to just keep talking about our amazing partners at ATYL Media, but Race Weather is one of our partners. They provide us with this information every single week. And so just kind of giving you a heads up if you are going to Atlanta or if you're watching from home and want to make sure like we don't have a rain delay or whatever, this is why this information is super important, but it's going to be cold. So expect some fun times there with the cold weather Friday. Saturday, overcast.
Hey, 50 degrees. That's a
50
heat wave.
degrees.
Hey,
Pretty
we'll
good.
take it.
That's a heat.
And then Sunday.
Oh,
Not good.
Yeah.
42?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Lord.
calm
Yeah.
winds, which is good, but yeah, the overcast and some showers and isolated thunderstorms, just the
Are
way
we
we like
optimists?
it in our NASCAR season, right, guys?
We're back, baby. We are
We're
so back.
We're back.
If you follow me on Threads, I've got it pinned to the top of my page. I have a weather incident counter for the year that I'm going to try and
Is
stay
that kinda like
updated on.
practice and
How many
qualifying?
times weather has affected.
Is
Yeah.
that kind of
Huh?
practice and qualifying?
Yeah.
Absolutely, it is.
Crazy.
I believe we're up to 4
my
incidents after 1 week of
Hey,
racing.
Here's the thing, though. It's not my fault this year, okay? Because I made no rain or weather predictions this year like I have in year past.
But
Like,
you were there,
Your
Taylor.
presence alone
God.
caused
You were
that.
in the room.
I was in the room.
But you
You
were there.
breathed
comes
the
from
air
inside
of
the house.
Daytona.
This is true. I breathed the air, and all of a sudden, Daytona was like, "Oh, we have to rain. It
I
has to
hope she
rain."
breathes air.
I hope I breathe air too. That would be really
She
good.
breathed Sunoco fumes.
Yeah.
See you in the hospital.
Yeah. Peace out, guys. But yeah, this is the weather for this weekend. Again, Friday mostly sunny, high of 45, low of 26. So it's going to be really
Be a great day for
cold.
practice.
Yeah. And then
Mhm.
Saturday, and of course Sunday.
Saturday's
yeah.
a doubleheader, right?
Saturday
Yeah.
is a doubleheader,
Yes.
truck and Xfinity. So
1:30 and 5.
be ready for that. Be ready for that. And then of course the schedule for this weekend, also
Oh,
brought
wow.
to you
If I
by
would've
Race
waited.
Weather.
It's
Here we go. You're good. Yeah. Pretty tame day on Friday, just qualifying for trucks and Xfinity. And then of course Saturday you got more of a stacked day with qualifying for Cup. And then trucks and Xfinity, their races, and then of course Sunday you have the race at 3 p.m. And we're going to see a lot of 3 p.m. races this year. I'm not too thrilled about it, but here we are.
I think we're going to see an 8 o'clock race if the rain hits in Atlanta.
Sad.
Monday at
Sad.
noon.
We'll see you there.
Rev up those fryers.
Rev up those fryers because I'm ready for Monday.
Awful.
How many sick days we get allotted a year?
Not enough. Not enough.
Lord have mercy.
If I may, one more Daytona
Yes,
topic.
please.
I texted this to you. Atlanta's going to be very telling on how Penske reacts to how they lost the 500. If they are non-existent in Atlanta, they're hurting real bad.
That's fair.
I mean, that was taken from them. Daytona was theirs.
Because Logano or Cindric should have won the Daytona 500. Hands down. Blaney was good, but they had the two best cars.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And again, Daytona every driver goes into the season with a certain mentality. And that mentality obviously is to win, do your best, we're going to reset. And oftentimes we see drivers have a crappy Daytona and then just like turn off for the season, or the first half of their season, they take that and they move that forward.
Mm-hmm.
What these drivers and teams have to keep in mind, and what I think I heard across the board, is Daytona is not going to define your season. It is one race, the biggest race of the year, but you cannot let the inevitable destruction at that track carry forward, because now the season really starts. I mean, Atlanta kind of aside, but you cannot let that crap continue to like fester in your brain, essentially, because it will kill your momentum in the season. Obviously, we saw a top 10 or top 5 effort, from Legacy Motor Club, which was awesome. Got to talk to Jimmy Johnson after the race, which was pretty cool. Let's go. We love that.
Flex. I was wondering when you were going to mention it. I was like, what you going to flex on?
Yeah, I gotta flex that now. Also cool to see that picture on. I want to apologize to Bob Podcast. I didn't realize he was behind me, but cool to see that picture on Jimmy's page. But yeah, no, just see the speed that Legacy Motor Club had across the board the entire speed weeks, not just Sunday. And I guess Sunday they were a little wishy-washy, but they were in the fight, kind of mid-pack, somewhere in there. But hopefully that carries forward. And even to Jimmy was like, we're going to celebrate today, but it's Daytona, right?
Yeah.
You move forward to Atlanta and you see how you go there and figure that out. But yeah, hated that for Penske. They had it. They really did. So.
Hurt me to the core.
Disappointment.
I was shouting a lot of expletives.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of tuned out for a while after Truex was out, and I was like, I'm going to go be a sad boy.
That's okay. That's okay.
I had people texting me, and I was like, don't text me. I don't want to talk about it.
I pre-ordered that diecast immediately the moment I saw it.
Yeah, that car was gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay, the Traveler whiskey diecast. I want that so bad, but it is so overpriced, and now pre-orders are gone.
I
get it.
But
I get it.
I'm okay. I'm okay with the price it was at because it was a race day.
Yeah.
How much was it?
It's essentially $115 for a 124.
Ooh.
And it's going to sell at retail for $85.
I'm going to say something because I don't think I've said it on here. I don't think that's a good looking car.
Get out. I'm just kidding.
That's fine.
Ban him. Ban him.
I was getting kicked out for a while. We all knew I was going to leave at some point. So.
It doesn't shout Junior.
Yeah,
Motorsports.
that's the thing. It's not a Jeremy
for
car.
me.
Yeah,
sure, but like,
does.
Yeah, the number didn't. I know why the number was there, but the number really didn't add to the JR Motorsports mystique.
Yeah,
I will say though, Dale choking up
Oh my
after
gosh,
they got in had me fighting back tears because everyone was thinking the same thing. It's like Big E's got such a big grin right now.
Yeah,
man, awesome. That was one of those like full circle moments, like truly.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was
just
special.
In the press conference too. They were hyped, and it was.
I'm sure.
Oh my god!
And did it in the most Earnhardt way possible too. Just like screw these 2 lanes. I'm making a third. Who's going with me? And went all the way to the front.
And good for Allgaier. Like again, like
yes.
not to continue harping on Daytona, but like,
but no, for real.
You have the 600 last year where he puts in a solid run in a Hendrick car, and you have this. Like, it's nice and obviously winning a championship, but like I'm talking Cup Series based stuff. Like, it's awesome to see him like kind of get his day in the sun now, so to speak.
Yeah.
His 600 was so good they ran a throwback at Indy.
Pre-ordered that throwback.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh,
I mean, and this really was Justin's like true shot back that was formed around him and the team. And Junior said that this reaffirmed that he wants to have a presence in Cup. Obviously, he's not wanting to buy a charter at $40 million right now, especially with, again, the lawsuit and everything like that. I'm going to say it like that because I'm so sick of talking about it. But like,
That's why my God.
yeah.
Ooh, suing. I'm scared.
legalese.
Litigation.
So,
Legalese.
you know. The rails have come on.
I'm saving my money because there might not be charters next year. go full Chris
Yeah.
We all
Farley.
might just be racing in a van down by the river.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh.
Oh, but yeah, I
We've
just
gone off the rails.
yeah, and that's okay. You know what? We've reached the near end of the stream, but
We
I
took
mean,
55 minutes to get there, but hey, we got there.
well, we got there. You know what? The fact that we went off the rails now as opposed to earlier, I'm proud of us. We did okay.
No, see, we're like Chris Wright. We were going.
Oh my
real smooth,
God.
and now that we're at the end, we have no brakes.
The crazy thing about that is we were all like, okay, brake issue. And we asked him, was it a brake issue? He goes, oh no. I'm like, take the out. Take the out.
Why you lying for?
We gave you the softball and you just whiffed
You
on
just-
it, brother.
Whipped it.
Follow-up question: why you lying for?
Yeah. Goodness gracious. But I mean,
Oh.
Daytona, as
God.
crazy as it is, it gives you a feel for like the teams, the drivers, and even to like Isabella Robusto and Arca. She did a fantastic job there as well. I'd hate to see her taken out of it, but like she did really good
Until she got.
until she
Arkin.
got Arca. Right. Right.
Arca
Also, shout out
happened.
to Ryan Roulette, top 10 for him. That's awesome for
Yo,
him and that
my
team.
my boy Ryan
It was so
out here
cool.
hustling.
So cool. But yeah, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. We appreciate it. Not just me, all of us. We appreciate you coming here and checking out all of our content, what we do. Of course, check out all of our incredible partners. Of course, an official announcement coming out tomorrow about Happy Hour Racing, but Happy Hour Racing, Benzik Designs, on brand. Shout out to you, Rob. We missed you tonight, but hopefully you're doing good. The Brett Mentality and Go Locker Racing, all fantastic partners of ours, and we hope that you support them as they support us. Go to abovetheline.com to learn more about our partners, direct links to their websites, how to best support them, and because when you support them, you support us as well. Also, links in our descriptions to where you can find them too. See, the tradition's back. The NASCAR season's back. We're putting. What should I put on my screen? I really don't have anything. You know, I'll figure that out next time. It's fine. But thank you all so much for tuning in, and of course, every Tuesday morning, we have Slide Job Sal's show talking about all things NASCAR related, kind of leading into our show that we have on Wednesday night. So make sure to check that out. We have all of our shows starting on ATYL Media's platforms. Big Duke's Virtual Race Hub, Go Talk Live. 4 Laps has finally started. Track Limits, Buddy's show has started. So all of our content is here. Johnny Roberts, his shows are going to be on the platform on Friday. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, everyone, thank you all so much. Check out our website, abovetheline.com. And from myself, Adam, Ben, and Dom, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Slide job.
For our friends.